Hello everybody. Welcome back. In this video, we'll talk about the latest release of the anime scripter, the release of 1.6.3. This release will contain a myriad of changes, so to say, to the whole functionality of the script, through which I will go quickly through. In the settings, actually, I want to first emphasize the new option they've added, or rather feature. If you remember, previously some of the settings were saved, and after, I believe, 0.2, there have been a couple of changes, and the settings saving was no longer being, saved. With this feature, I fixed that. Let me quickly close. You will see the duplicate upscale interpolate enabled there. And if we open up After Effects again, let's quickly close this. New comp, deduplicate upscale interpolate, 55555, Span-TensorRT and whatnot. I will go through that real quick. So yeah, that's the biggest, change to the UI that I can mention. Let's go from top to bottom. You remember that maybe there was some Comstel upscaler setting down there. It has been moved up here, and I've also added the offline mode. Basically, offline mode allows you to utilize the script 100, well, not necessarily 100%, but basically everything that isn't YouTube downloads, and app maps will work just fine offline. So in case if you have internet issues or you're on a laptop that doesn't have internet at the moment, yeah, you can still use the script fully offline, with the exception of those two features I mentioned. If you remember, the percentage signs have been like in this form. I've moved them here and they should work just fine now. It was a bit of an ugly thing, but this should suffice for the most part. Help improve the script. Basically, if you want to, of course, you can send the log.txt, certain details from the log.txt file. I try to remove everything that has anything related to your Windows username, so like input, output, downloaded to, and whatnot. Like all those paths are removed from the log.txt. It allows me to count what feature is being utilized the most. From what I notice right now, the duplicate is utilized the most. Basically, if you have use Shufflecugan-TensorRT, or we'll go into all of those, but basically this is opt-in or opt-out. If you want to utilize it, you can utilize it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. The biggest really advantage to it from my side is the fact that in case if you run into an error, I can also check what error that is. In case if it's, I don't know, some feature that is broken, I can fix it preemptively without having the user go to the Discord server and trying to debug it. I can directly see the error and fix it myself in a future release of the script. This allows for a certain, removing the middleman, which is basically Discord and or GitHub issues. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, this is opt-in or opt-out. If you want to help, you can help. If you don't want to help, so be it. You may see that YT-DLP quality has been removed. We'll go into detail in just a second about that. Upscale model. So yeah, a couple of good changes. Let's quickly go through them. TensorRT. TensorRT basically allows you to increase the efficiency at which the upscaling or interpolation, for that matter, is being done. I've seen a approximately 50% increase in performance, but you're more than welcome and share your own results. It comes with one small drawback, the fact that it needs to create engines. Well, actually two drawbacks. First and foremost, it needs to create engines, which can take a minute, at about a minute and a half, depends on your system. But of course, they're being reutilized on after creating the engine. I will show an example in just a second. DirectML. DirectML is utilizing the DirectX 12 pipeline. Basically, if you're an AMD or Intel user, you can utilize virtually everything from down here. even these ones, but these will default to CPU. Let's not go too into detail with that. You can utilize virtually everything in here. Preferably from what I've noticed, the performance on DirectML is superior to the NCNN, but you can try them both and see which one works better for you. I would suggest preferably for you to have some, well, more modern, maybe 2020 GPU for these, but yeah, that's besides the point. I've also added in here, I'm not sure which I've talked about. I did 4.15 Lite, 4.16 Lite, 4.15 TensorRT, 4.6 TensorRT, 4.15 Lite DirectML. So virtually there's a bunch of new options that you can try and play around with, see which one works fastest for you. And then, yeah, I believe that giving options to the user is much better than having 4 stolen models and call it a day. Yeah, in the terms of settings, that's about it. As I mentioned, custom upscaler has been moved up here with the offline mode. Let's talk about the YouTube DLP. Do I have a clip here that I wanted specifically. Credit to Otaman for it. Opa, I forgot to make the settings. Yeah, task folder, this PC, G, TS, boom, and output. I just installed this version of TAS to test, and yeah, that's should be it. So you will press get video. It will open a terminal for you. It's gonna download FFmpeg in case if it hasn't downloaded it just yet. And it should show, yeah, select the resolution you want to download, use up and down arrow keys to navigate to press enter to select. Basically, with the up and down arrow keys, you can select what resolution you want to utilize. For this test, I'm gonna go with, let's go 720p. I press enter, it says selected resolution 720. I should probably add a P at the end as well, but yeah, that's quality of life stuff. It downloaded it and you have it in here. I want to show an example of TensorRT in action. We will do the duplicate, upscale, and interpolate. The settings that we'll use, what goes fastest. I believe compact takes a really short amount of time. I'm not going to do TensorRT on interpolation too. Let's do 4.16, like, no, 4.15. Sensitivity, let's do 70. I assume there's no much duplicates in here, but just for the sake of it, let's run it. So let's let me show you how what I was talking about, the engine part. It's going to show you the video that's being processed. I added a couple of like green stuff so it's more like visible, let's put it that way. It has downloaded the compact TensorRT model. It shows you a progress bar for it. It shows where it downloaded it. It says model engine not found, creating engine for model. It shows the path to the model. This may take a while. Generally about, for compact, for me, it takes about 30-ish seconds. It depends on your system. I have a 3090, maybe a 4080 or 4090 would be even better. It also shows the inputs. That's besides the point. It's down 30 seconds for this. It has downloaded the model and it's working and it's done. And you have it upscaled, interpolated, and everything in between. This is a relatively low resolution input, but maybe I can still see I can still see a decent amount of difference, especially in here. Of course, I do want to mention that this has been deduplicated. I'm not sure if the input already had duplicates, but yeah. That's mainly the TensorRT part. Shufflecugan, Span, all of these are TensorRT, DirectML, UltraCompact, UltraCompact, SuperUltraCompact, and Span-DirectML. I should probably move this up here, but that's besides the point. Yeah. These were the, well, most of the visible changes. There have been a couple of changes in the backend. I've tried to improve the performance as much as I could. Rife 4.6 TensorRT on my system gets upward of 190 FPS, I believe it was, with a 1080p input. Of course, this is much larger if the input is like 720 per 480p, but that's again besides the point. So anyway, that's mainly it. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, evening, everything in between. Talk to you later.